See, I don't know how this Instagram stuff works because they try to not let me play stuff when I'm on live. So I gotta mute and unmute. I'm in an R&B vibe. I'm in an R&B. I'm in an R&B vibe these days, y'all. I don't know what it is, but summer makes me think of like old school 90s R&B and hip hop. I was singing Mary J. Blige earlier. Freaking Faith Evans. I've been listening to like a soundtrack. It's on Spotify called Love Deluxe. And it has Lorenz Tate and Nia Long, Love Jones on the cover. So I had to get into it. Thank you. Hello, everybody. I'm going to go ahead and invite some people on. You can invite some people on too. Let's invite some folks. Wait. How do we do this? I'm showing y'all my age. I don't usually do lives. I just started doing lives and a girl is struggling. Okay, we just did it. Oh, you're here already. We just gonna invite mad people to the live. Oh, wait, we ain't gonna invite that person. Okay. Woo. Oh my goodness. Hang on. Invite that person. Yes. To the live. Yes. Go ahead and send this to everybody you know, because that's what I'm doing. Wait, when I send stuff to people, is it like pausing the camera? I'm not sure. How y'all doing? It's Happy Wednesday. It's been a weekend. I just got a text message and I can't really answer the text. All right, can I answer the text? Okay, cool. I just wanted to make sure that it's not pausing. Thank you so much. Is it Russell? Hi, Russell. Nice to meet you. Hi, Rye. Hi, Auntie. Welcome to Shifts and Giggles, where I reach out into the world to talk to some amazing people that I know and some that I don't, and we talk about the shit that leads to shifts and have some laughs along the way. Yay. I did my makeup today. Every week y'all are gonna get a makeup look from me because I'm testing things out. I'm not really like a makeup girly, but I look good in it, so I'm gonna just try it on for size, okay? I'm excited about today's interview, and my interviewee is here, so we're just gonna get right into it. Come on, join us live, Bobby. Join us. How do I do this? Gosh, I'm showing my age, y'all. And also, I think this is a perfect playlist to be listening to because Bobby loves R&B, right, Bobby?
Hey.
Hi!
You can hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm turning my volume up. I'm trying to make sure that, like, we all good in here. How you doing, Mr. Yan?
I am wonderful. It's good to be with you, Rashida.
Thank you so much for coming on. So for everybody who don't know, this is my friend, Bobby Yan. Bobby, introduce yourself to the peoples.
I am Bobby, and everybody's on here that knows me. Hey, how y'all doing? Good to see y'all. And does anybody know you? So Rashida is
Oh,
a
so
wonderful actress. You're an actress. You're a writer. Uh, you're related to some famous people in the industry. Got some good
Bobby,
connections, and we have some mutual connections that are wonderful as well. So
we do have some mutual connections. We could talk about that like straight off the jump.
that's up to you. So.
Well, okay, look, we can talk about that straight off the jump. So Bobby and I have a mutual friend, okay? And one day, Bobby and I we're talking about all the stuff, and I get to talking, and I'm like, yeah, well, my cousin is a Kochiyama. And he's like, Kochiyama? Like Yuri Kochiyama? And I'm like, yeah. So for those of you who don't know who Yuri is, Yuri is a Japanese American social justice, civil rights activist. And did I did I skip any? I feel like that's the gist of it.
I mean, she's one of
She's like a legend.
pioneering Asian American activist, and she's best known for working with Malcolm X.
Hmm.
Um, and I met her many years ago through my friend Jamal and Tammy and Mr. Payne at a pilgrimage to Malcolm's grave,
Hmm.
and I was on. I think I was maybe 18 years old, maybe. I don't remember how old I was, but so went on this. We had two buses. We were going to this to the grave site, and when I got on there,
Hold, you cutting out? Yeah, I hear you now.
a woman on the bus, and everybody's like giving respect to her, like "Thank you, sister. Good to see you, sister." And I was like, "Who is this Asian woman that every single person knows?"
Uh-huh.
And lo and behold, it was Yuri. And ever since I met her, my life, I met her, my life changed because at that point, I think I had never met. Uh, at that point, I didn't meet another Asian person I thought was like me, you know.
Yeah.
So we shared a very similar spirit for liberation of people, for human rights struggles. And at that time, I was way more like this, when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And I think I had I had read Malcolm's book. I read a lot of books. I read the ISIS papers. I was very radicalized at an early age.
Yeah.
So when I met her, I was like, wow, who are you? You're so amazing. So she became a really big influence to me in finding my identity, and also it's even more important now in today's world in terms of being an Asian American that uh, understands where we stand and as Asian Americans in our relationship with other people of color today
Hmm.
and in this country. So, and I specifically speak as an Asian American or Asian that was born here.
Yeah.
You know, there's different viewpoints if you're born in Asia, and I respect that as well. But for me, as an Asian American that was raised here, hey, um, it's she was very important to me, and she was the first person that got me my one of my first internships. I worked at a place called Third World Newsreel. That was very influential to me in, finding my voice as a filmmaker, and then, watching all these amazing indie films.
Yeah.
So I started by cleaning film reels as an intern for them. So,
Hmm.
but at the same time, I was watching the films. I would take them home and I'd watch them, and it was my what's the word I'm looking for? It was my fuel, my education for filmmaking
Yeah.
to become who I am today. So,
Yeah.
so shouts to Kimmy, your cousin. Shouts to Kimmy at Kochiyama. I
Hi,
love the whole
Kemi, if
family.
you're
Shouts
watching,
to the whole
we
family.
love you.
Hey,
Yeah, it's always interesting for me to hear other people's experiences of Yuri and the Kochiyama family because I was born into it. Like I knew Yuri my entire existence, and I do remember going to her apartment in Harlem, and she had like a couch full of teddy bears, and she was always just so sweet and so kind, and I knew that she was involved in the community. It didn't dawn on me until I was a little bit older. Because when you're 4 and 5, like you see all of these people and you're like, oh wow, something is happening,
Mm-hmm.
right? There's camaraderie, there's community here, but you don't really get it until you get a little bit older. And so,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I enjoy hearing other people's experiences of Yuri because mine is so very different. Um, and I'm sure like everybody has like and everybody who has met Yuri has an experience of her, who and who she is because she's left a lasting impression on all of us. Honestly,
Yeah, she
now
has. She has.
you you said that she got you your first internship. You were like cleaning films and watching films. Is that sort of where the story of Bobby Yan, the director filmmaker, began?
Kind of, sort of. I mean, it led me to where I'm at. It fed me the information I needed. It fueled me. Um, my story began in New Orleans, of all places.
Mm-hmm.
So shouts to everybody that's from New Orleans that might be here. But that's like my second home.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was in New Orleans, I was at school, and I used to work in the TV station there, and we were all self-taught. We taught ourselves television editing, camera work, everything. So that's where I started from, really. And then ultimately, um, that led me on a path toward wanting to tell stories,
Mm,
and also led me to working in the music industry, which is another side of my life. I was in the music industry really young age,
mm,
working with a lot of artists, and then ultimately I started directing music videos. So that's what got me into film. So, but I got into music videos with the intent of being a filmmaker, doing movies and TV
okay.
and all that stuff. It was definitely a plan from the very beginning. Probably when I
Mm,
was like, I think I wanted to be a filmmaker when I was 14 years old. I already knew that's what I wanted to do. So,
yeah. So
you know,
you found your purpose early on.
I did. I did. I had two things. I wanted to sing and I wanted to do films. Those are two of my loves. So when I got to college, that was my intent. I was singing and I was working in a TV station. I had
Mm,
two loves that was very important to me at that time.
yeah.
But then when I look back on that, it's an extension of who I am today. I was telling this to somebody. I don't know who I was talking to. Yes, I think my friend Miles. I was telling him that the reason for me um, that I love working with actors. Actors
Mm,
are performers, right? Well, when they perform, they're embodying. Hopefully, you're not performing, you're acting, you're performing, you're becoming the character. But at the
right.
same time, as an artist, as a creative, when I was singing as a child, I was classically trained. I sang gospel, all this stuff. I still take that side of the artistry of that, and also the discipline that it took to do that at an early age. And I could put my headspace in the headspace of working with talent,
Mm,
such as an actor, so I can understand both sides. It's not me telling them what to do. No, no, I'm guiding you together on your journey to find your voice as an actor or whatever role you're
right.
doing, actress. So I understand that side as well. And I used to perform, you know. So even though I'm not an actor and never will be an actor, it's not my
Mhm.
thing. But it helps me understand. So I think that's why it all correlates together. What I loved as a child into who I am now, it all makes sense. So
Okay.
yeah. I see one of
Bobby,
my New Orleans buddies.
oh, what's up, New
Yes.
Orleans, buddy? Look, you always shock me because just now you were like, oh, I was a classically trained singer. Bobby, I didn't know that.
Yes. Well, now you do.
I feel like every time I talk to you, I find.
No, Bernice, you're not going to let me sing right now. No.
Listen, yo, Bernice was thinking what I was thinking because I was like, should I just ask him to
No.
sing a whole song,
Not right now.
something? Look at him, you turned
Not
red,
right now.
Bernice. He's not gonna do
Not right now.
it.
No.
All right, so I I kind of want to get to your films, right? Your shorts that have circulated film festivals, and now your films that can be seen across Lifetime and BET and TV One, right? There was Mars,
Mm-hmm.
which told the story of two a black and Latino man, and
Well, they're both black, but yeah.
well, he was well, what the one? Okay, two black men figuring out their relationship um, of being gay, and then there was Lorraine's Got a Boogie. Hmm. I'm trying to figure out how to phrase this, right? Because here's the
Mm-hmm.
thing, Bobby. Mars, Lorraine's Got a Boogie, Stalked by Her Past. If you guys haven't seen it, you can see it on Lifetime. Um, Deadly Encounter with Vanessa Simmons, Monica Calhoun. That's one.
Deadly entanglement.
De-
Entanglement.
did I said encounters?
Okay.
And you know
But you
what?
said that you said the actors. You said the actors. That's all that counts.
Okay.
The actors are all that counts.
Deadly Entanglement, which is currently on BT, has Vanessa Calhoun, Vanessa Simmons, Monica Calhoun. You see, I'm like stumbling all over my freaking words. Okay. And then you have another movie coming up. First comes Love, then comes Murder. All of those movies are predominantly black people. And so my question is, and I'm playing devil's advocate here a little bit, why choose to tell black stories? And I only I
Mm,
know I am very aware that I named the films which are predominantly black, right?
well,
Why choose to tell black stories, or what?
I don't tell only black stories
I know that you
because,
don't, but
yeah,
go ahead.
yeah. But I embrace the fact that I get to be honored to do black stories,
Hmm.
right? So,
Hmm.
because I've done many different things from different things, it's all cultural, right? Everything I've done revolves around culture. So, Mars was the first thing that was my project that I wrote and directed. And then the second thing that I wrote and directed was called XX Visible, which was about anti-Asian violence. So, from a personal standpoint, yeah, I think I love doing things that are culturally hitting the moment, being
Hmm.
ahead of what uh, what's the word I'm looking for? Anything cultural, anything that explores humanity is what I want to direct. Is what I love doing. So, and I just happen to be a person that's spirited enough to love everybody, right?
Hmm.
So I think the fact that I've been blessed to have all these African American projects or movies, that's a blessing. I didn't know the other projects you mentioned, the TV movies, I didn't write them. I was hired to direct them.
Hmm.
So, and honored to direct them, honestly.
Hmm.
So, but in terms of does that fit into the world that I want to do? Yeah, of course. You know, I
Hmm.
want to explore different cultures. I want to explore. I want the freedom to be able to direct anything that I want,
Hmm.
right? And I think that I can't really be defined by genres, right?
Right.
You're not going to say, oh, I don't know, he's a drama director, he's a comedy director. I think at this point I've done a little bit of everything, right?
Yeah.
He's a genre director. Even when I was doing music videos, I think I mostly did hip hop at one point, but then I flipped it. You know, I did a heavy metal video.
Hmm.
I started doing gospel videos. I started doing pop videos, right?
Hmm.
The only thing I never really did was country music videos, which I wanted to do, but I never got a
Hmm.
chance. Because again, you know, to get into different genres, and sometimes people like to pigeonhole you. But I'm really big person on embracing that directors can direct whatever they want,
Yeah.
as long as their heart is in it,
Yeah.
right? So I think that's where I stand with that.
Okay.
So anyway, to answer your question, yeah, I'm super grateful to be directed to have been able to direct in these spaces. Super grateful, and super grateful to people that hired me, that believed in me to do that. You know,
Yeah.
and and again, would I direct something totally different? Yeah, I would. I want to direct anything. I want to direct things that have good content, that has good storytelling, and also I want to direct things that's colorblind casting. And that's something I was telling that to someone as well. Like, colorblind casting is important to me. To see
Hmm.
a TV show that has all races of people that represent the world that we're in, that's
Hmm.
where we need to be. So I'm all for it. I'm 100% for that. And I will fight to the death for that. And I think right now we're in a battle to make sure that we have that, because we have people that do not want that. And again, I'm old enough to now know that when I grew up, we didn't have that as much. Everything was a stereotype or very subgenre,
Yeah.
right? And I
Yeah.
don't think it's fair. I want to see us do, you know, when you cast a role, it could be anybody. Just give it to the right actor or actress. I mean, that's what I want. Unless it is culturally significant to
Right.
that story,
Right.
then then totally. You're doing a
Yeah.
story about Italian people, of course. You're doing a story about African American family, of course. You focus
Hmm.
on that, on the Gully South and all that stuff. You focus on who that family is. You be real as you can, and that's important to me as well, because that again is exposing us to another culture that maybe someone doesn't know about, that needs to know about. And again, this goes right back again to what Yuri taught us, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
Education. We living in a world where education is literally being stripped from us. They don't want people to know their history. They don't
Hmm.
want people to know who they were because it's dangerous, right? So what does that mean? It means us as storytellers, we have to work even harder now to make sure that these stories are told. I'm doubling down on whatever I was doing, you know, when I first started when I was 17. I realize now that everything that Yuri, you know, taught me
Hmm.
is even more important now than ever before.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
it's interesting how life goes full circle,
Yeah.
you know. So
I totally feel you on that, and I'm curious, as someone, you said that's what everybody's fighting for at this point. and progresses have been made, but it's still very much an uphill battle. This is like I feel like this is a silly question, but like, how much change do you foresee in, I'm trying to formulate, sorry guys that I'm stuttering, I'm trying to think and
That's
formulate
cool.
the question in a way that's,
Find your question. It's all good. Take your time.
yeah, I'm trying to, I think what my question is, like, you said that like this is still like a struggle, that we're battling this and we're trying to move forward and fighting for like colorblind casting. And so my question is, what is, how far along do you foresee the change? Are we seeing enough change? Is it possible for us to see, well, obviously it is possible for us to see more change, but like, let's say in the next 5 years, do you think that it's possible for us to have colorblind casting without so much pushback? Because like,
I think regardless of the answer, you just have to do it.
okay,
It doesn't matter, right? I don't think. I mean, again, I think the goal for me at least is to leave the earth knowing that I did something on this
yeah,
earth,
yeah,
right? That I did the best I could. You know,
mm-hmm.
I'm not, you know, I told you, no, I'm not motivated by money in this industry at all. I'm motivated by the work.
Right,
I'm motivated by the impact that I could make, right?
right,
Now, don't get me wrong. I love to direct. It's my passion. I love production. It is my life, my joy. So when I'm most alive, but I can't forget and not say that, you know, you want to do something that makes a difference. You want to help people. I want to help people with the work that I do,
yeah,
right? And I'm not trying to be on what is that, you know, stand on some little totem pole. No, no, no. It's just part of what motivates me to move forward. So the answer is yes. It will, if as long as we keep creating, and I'm going to do everything I can, and with the power I have to grow that power and to get others to join, and again create that world where we can have different roles for different people and have freedom to express ourselves whatever way you want, right? Whatever
yeah,
way you want. But I do. Is it going to change in 5 years? Of course not. Of course not. It's not. It's not. You can see right now after the George Floyd incident, or murder, I should call it, the
yeah,
George Floyd murder. You saw it took about 3 years, but now everybody's reverting backwards to the promises they made after that happened. Right? It
yeah,
wasn't going to last very long. I have a friend that talks about this. He talks about how uh, cultural shifts and diverse initiatives go up and down within a 5 year period. They go up, they go down, they go up, they
yeah,
go down, and it's going to continue to do that,
yeah,
right?
yeah. Mm-hmm.
So right now we're going back down to a downshift. It's shifting downward now. But what does that mean? It means me and other directors like me, or writers and or actors or actresses, everybody, we work
Mm-hmm.
even harder now. We work in our own spaces. We create our own avenues. We create our own work,
Mm-hmm.
even if it's outside the system, and we double down on what we're doing. If that's what you care about. If you don't care about it, cool. But we will still make stories that entertain and still hopefully represent diversity.
Okay.
That's the answer.
Yeah. Okay. Um, you know what, Bobby? You're like the best person to talk to about like filmmaking and social justice and, you know, creatives putting in the work to make shifts in the industry. And I appreciate you so much for that.
Oh, thank you.
Y'all, I I'm all tapped out, Bobby. I'm all
What do you
tapped
mean?
out. I don't got no more questions for you. I'm just like, well,
Okay.
shit. Oh, sorry. Sorry for all those who have, you know, an aversion to profanity. But yeah, like for everybody, if you don't know Bobby Yan, please go follow him now at Mr. Oh, I know, right? Go follow him at Mr. Bobby Yan. And it's Mr. MRBOBBYYAN. Okay. Do
Okay.
you want to
Ronnie
start?
has questions. Ronnie.
Oh, okay. So
Right.
then that's what I'm gonna do. Let's open up the floor to some questions. Oh, that's a good one. So Ronnie asked
Okay, Scott.
how Ronnie asked, how do artists not allow disillusionment to slow us down?
Can you please explain this? What is the word? Delusionment?
Disillusionment.
Disillusionment. What do you mean by that, Ronnie?
Like, how do we, I guess, how do we, man, Ronnie with the big words. Come on now. How do we
Okay,
allow?
let's talk about it broadly, I guess.
Okay.
Social media, there's a lot of distractions, there's a lot of, I've been using this word PTSD. Everybody has their own PTSD.
Yeah.
It could be, I mean, everybody has it. It could be based on race, gender, I don't know, experiences, abuse,
Mm.
relationships. Everybody has stuff to take us off our path. Um, I would say you have to stay centered, right? You got to stay
Mm-hmm.
centered. Um, I don't do it. I don't do as much as I should, but you know, you need to meditate, focus.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you can pray if you're religious.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like to speak super religiously because everybody has different faiths. But I
Mm-hmm.
know if you could be in tune with yourself, I think we have to stay in tune with ourselves as much, and that's hard, and that's a daily thing. It's a daily thing, you know, really, really daily thing for me. So,
Mm-hmm.
read books. There's so many self-help books. You know, one of the things I'm probably going to do, one of my goals before I leave this earth is I'm probably going to write a book,
Please
probably some
do.
sort of like inspirational book. I feel like I should,
I feel like
but
you
I'm,
should too.
I will
Yeah.
when the time is right. I
Okay.
definitely will. Um, oh wait, this says, I don't know if you've seen a part of the new actress conversation. So I think
Okay.
Ronnie, for you, you know, feel a part of it. Well, then again,
Well,
I've said this before, and I can relate to this personally, Ronnie, is there's a, we can jump on another person's bandwagon, whatever that bandwagon is, and look all fly and all that stuff, but we can create our own bandwagon. I think, again, that's what we need to do. We create our own bandwagon,
yeah.
right? So I think Ronnie, you were, you know, speaking of nomadic griot, name is Ronnie, you are doing that. You are creating your own. You have been doing that from day one. When she walks in the room, people notice. You are your own bandwagon, and you have to embrace that bandwagon of I am me. I am doing my own things. Continue to write, produce, do your own stories. Use social media to embrace who you are and let other people know who you are. Right? And not a lot of us do that. I don't do social media that much.
Yeah.
But yeah, like Issa Rae did. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You
Issa Rae
create your
said
own thing. You take
network.
your own voice and you create it, and you do something that people will see,
Yeah.
right? And try, and you just got to work on it.
Yeah.
So yeah, you have to like, you can't be. We can all be envious of other people, and those are distractions, right? Yeah, of course, Ron, I get you, and you will be. You will be. You definitely will be. So, but we can't let the distractions of seeing what other people's success get in the way. What we do is we look at how they can inspire us by their success and see what they did, and then we create our own little lane. And that's all you can do. You can just focus on yourself, Ronnie. That's what I suggest, and that's what I have to do. So
Yeah.
we all have to do, and we all have to learn to. Number two, uh, we have to understand that we are good enough, right? Something
That's
that
a
was a
big.
very big lesson for me
Mm.
was to realize I was good enough because my issue personally, if I really want to get a little personal, I don't like to get too personal, but I always thought I was a student for my whole
You
life.
you thought
You
you were
know,
what?
a student. I wasn't ready. I was still learning. I kept thinking I was learning,
Okay.
even though I knew more than most people, you know, in my life
Yeah.
that were more successful than me. I knew more, right? And I know that. But because I kept playing the student role in my head, which basically means I didn't believe I was good enough, right?
Mm-hmm.
You really want to get to the hard nitty gritty of it. You
Mm-hmm.
just have to believe that you are good enough. And if you don't think you are, yeah, worthy. You have to feel like you're worthy. And if you don't think you are, then continue to do the work and study till you are,
Mm-hmm.
right? If you're a writer, if you're an actress, actor, and you don't think you're good, then study. You do the work. If you're a director, practice, do the work. You know, uh, find mentors, uh, take workshops, um, whatever you can do. Go to film festivals. That's a great place to meet people. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I'll say this: film festivals were the biggest blessing in my life. because I think I literally made a whole new family of friends that I think will be there for the rest of my life from film festivals. People that I love truly to
Uh,
this day from film festivals. Right.
that was
So
going to be my follow-up question for you, was like how to find or build a community of creative peers. Like how do you do that without um, because sometimes we are in these like communities of creative peers, but it's almost like there's a hierarchy. You know what I'm do you know what I'm saying? Like
I
there's
mean, I
like
don't. Yeah, I know.
because
I know what you're saying.
I ask this
And it's taken
because
from us. We're living in New York City, right? New York City is
right,
such a big city,
it's a
and
huge
you could
city.
get lost in New York really
Yeah.
easily, but you can also find your own little group of people that you can keep around you, right? And I have two cities I can relate to. I can talk about New Orleans. I can talk
Mhm,
about here. New Orleans has a thriving film community that is amazing,
mhm.
right? Atlanta has a thriving film community of people that I've met that it's just amazing, and they're supporting. Again, try to find your support mechanism
Yeah.
within. And then the beauty of it now is it doesn't even matter what city you're in. It's virtual. You can find a virtual support, system as well. You know,
Yeah. I
so
think for those of us uh, who know what life was like before technology, I think it's a little bit harder for us to grow like an actual community virtually, like because it's hard to keep in touch. There's so much being thrown at us via our phones and the TV and everything else. Um, but I like what you said about film festivals and building your community that way. You said that you always felt like a student, that you were always learning, that you weren't ready, that you felt like you weren't worthy. What changed? What was like the light bulb that was like, oh, I can do this?
um, series of events for me, uh, series of events.
Okay.
The ups and downs, losing some people in my life. It's just
Mhm.
like sometimes it's the light bulb, and
Yeah.
also sometimes you got to hit rock bottom. Sometimes
Yeah.
you have to lose, and I felt like in certain points in my life I lost everything. I'll throw another story at you. It's very interesting. I remember and this is very early in my career. Um, I really wanted to get when I was doing music videos.
Hmm.
There was a point when I felt like um, I was treated wrong over certain jobs and all this stuff, and I wanted to quit. And I
Hmm.
really was like, forget this. I'm not going to be a filmmaker. I'm going to quit music videos. I'm not going to be a director. I'm just going to get a day job and do what my parents wanted me to do because they never wanted to do this anyway. So,
Yeah.
and I remember going to I remember, and then that's rock bottom for me at an early stage of my life, right?
Hmm.
Early stage. I remember going to a barbershop. I sat in my barbershop, barber chair, and the barber's name is Tiger. And he's not gonna see this, but what's up, Tiger? But he just looked at me. Tiger was cutting my hair, and he stopped, and he pulled away from me for a second. He said, "What's wrong with you?" I said, "What do you mean?" And he said, "You're gonna give up, aren't you?" I said, "What are you talking about? How would he know this? How would he know this?" He
Hmm.
said, and then he just said, God told me to tell you that you can't give up. I
Hmm.
said, what? So again, you don't know where the message or who's looking after you, but if you believe in a higher power, that higher power is there because it was there for me. Because
Yeah.
nobody told him to tell me that, and how would he know that?
Yeah.
You know. So he just told me that out the blue. He said, "Don't give up." He said, "You're so close. You're so close." He didn't at that point even know me that well for him to tell me that. So it shocked me that he said that. It was just a random friend to just say, "Don't give up." But again, sometimes it takes you to get to rock bottom to just know when you do get rock bottom, there's only one way to go. You can only go up.
Yeah.
So those are some of the moments, and I have many like that in my life
Hmm.
that shifted me. That shifted me. You
Yeah.
know. So, and thank God I have a amazing mentor now. My mentor is Michael Schultz. He's a director. He does a director of Cooley High, Last Dragon, uh,
Hmm.
Crush Groove. He does
Ooh.
All American.
Uh-huh.
He's 80 something years old, still directing. Been a mentor of mine for about 20 years now, and
Hmm.
he's also been very enlightening to me to tell me his stories of
Hmm.
you know how he went through. And I always ask him, I said, "How do you do it? How do you do it?" And he just tells me he meditates, he prays. Right? That's him. There's a
Yeah.
wonderful wife and family that keeps him afloat. And he's
Hmm.
such an amazing person. So And he's also one of the people that you know tells me like you're ready. In fact, he
Yeah.
referred me to a job that I'm going to do hopefully soon, and it's the biggest job of my life. And
Hmm.
thank you for him. And for
Yeah.
him to believe in me is enough. When your mentor tells you you're good enough to do this here,
Hmm.
you know. So, but yeah, but I could have been. But here's the catch. The catch is I could have been there way earlier in my life to get
Right.
to that point. But you don't know. That's your path. Everybody has a different path. Some people start earlier. Some people
Hmm.
make it early. Some people make it at 21 years old. They're already successful. All right.
Right. Yeah.
Me, that wasn't my path. It wasn't, and I accept that. So,
Yeah. Yeah. I see everybody in the chat. Thank y'all so much. If you have any more questions for Bobby, drop them in the chat now. Because we're gonna keep you on here for as long as we can. Is that okay? As long as y'all
I'm
got
okay for.
questions, as long, well, no.
I'm okay for a moment. I can't stay forever. I'm okay for a moment. So.
Okay. Bobby is a busy man. So if y'all have any questions, drop them in the chat now. I said this earlier this week when I was like posting on my personal page, and I was like, I got Bobby Ann coming on. He's a friend and a mentor. You're for me, you're like a mentor to me. I don't know if you see it that way, but sometimes I think about like there are a handful of people who are like encouraging me and pushing me and giving me knowledge and information and putting me in place to further my creative endeavors. And you and Sky are two of those people. And Sky just dropped the question. So, dream projects. What's your dream project? I can't even speak.
Dream
What is your dream
projects.
project?
Ultimately, I see myself doing a lot of bigger sci-fi pieces,
Okay.
genre pieces. I see myself doing a Marvel film. I mean, that's one of
Ooh.
my goals. I've been training myself my whole life for it.
Okay.
Or, well, not Marvel, but things like that, Star Wars type things. The dream project is to just have full creative control to be able to do this type of stories I want to do, and work with some amazing writers to make it happen. Right.
Okay.
So that would be dream, and for this to work to be seen. So I see Sam. Hello, Sam. We're pursuing something in this vein. Some pursuing something in this vein. Uh, well, what vein are you talking about specifically? If you're talking about filmmaking, acting, writing,
Writing.
well, I think right now, what I will say is this: there has never been such a better time now because information is everywhere. So if there's anything that you want to learn,
Mhm.
um, it's probably on YouTube to at least introduce you to it. So,
Okay.
um, what's up, Melvin?
Hey, Melvin.
Uh, but yeah, I think I'm saying the same creative joke. Yeah, Sam, something creative. Well, once you figure out, and I could talk to you, Sam, about that. Once you figure out what it is that you like to do, again, I think part of it is to mentor, to not mentor, but join up with other people that might be interested in that same thing. Because I think Sam's into anime and things like that. Find other people that are interested in it, and you'll find that there's probably a lot of groups and people that can help you and guide you in that direction. So I think information is everywhere, but you got to find it. You got to do the research. But again, that we can do everything from our phones. Something that I know, when I came up, I remember the time we didn't have that. So
Yeah.
I
My
hope that
aunt
answers
asked,
your
"What would
question.
you like to be remembered for as a writer?"
As a writer, I'm not really a writer. I'm not really a writer, but
But
as a
you
creative,
have,
I have.
yeah.
Yes, yes. Um, I would like to be remembered as somebody that was a trailblazer for culture. You
Hmm.
know, that means for me as an Asian American, cool. But I want to be known as a person that was at the forefront of cultural impact with any of my
Hmm.
work, whatever that is. And if that means me as an Asian American bridging the gap between other cultures by doing work that's culturally relevant, that's really important to me. Like I want to be at the forefront of that. That's one of my goals.
Okay.
So, other people like Ryan Coogler right now,
Hmm.
David DuVernay. These are
Hmm.
modern people that I'm looking at that I feel like are doing that, right? Issa
Hmm.
Rae to a certain extent, right?
Yeah.
Uh, John Chu,
Hmm.
other people, or people that I came up loving, like Spike Lee,
Hmm.
um, Robert Rodriguez, right? They all had something, they could be random people, but they all had something that, F. Gary Gray, they all were like ahead of the curve in terms of creating things, and we're able to shift things.
Hmm.
For me, I want to be able to create and shift and work with culture and shift things around, but for the better
Yeah.
and still fun and do stuff that's great to watch. I want to do
Right.
entertaining things and impactful work. That's what I
Right.
want.
Um, Sky asks, what brings you back to balance when you feel off? So how do you recenter yourself?
Taking time out for myself,
Mhm.
escaping. Uh,
But do you really escape? Because you're every time I speak
what's
to
up,
you, you're
Ifram?
busy.
I sometimes escape. I'll take, if you know me, you'll know I'll go on little mini escapes. I'll go to a hotel and disappear for a few days. But I really like water for some reason, maybe because I'm Aquarius. I like water. So
Hmm.
sometimes if I'm near water, it centers me. So, you know,
Okay. Yeah.
yeah. So,
Okay.
what's up, Ephraim?
All right. Huh?
And I see Ephraim's here. My friend Ephraim, amazing actor, producer. Hello, Ephraim. How are you? I see Tammy, my big sister's here. Look up Tammy. She has a book, an amazing book called "The Dead Are Sorry, The Dead Are Risen: The Life of Malcolm X," which is a Pulitzer-winning book that she is a co-author of. So check her out. She's
I,
amazing. So,
I would, I'm gonna check her out. But if everybody else wants to check her out, you can find Tammy at is it Tamara
Tamara
or
Tammy.
Tamara? Tamara?
So
Is it
Tamara,
Tamara or
Tamara.
Tamara? Because I've heard it both ways.
I say
So, but
Tamara.
it's
I say Tamara.
however
I
you
hope I got it
find
right.
it. It's ITSTAMARA
Thank you, Tammy. Hey,
PAYNE.
Lou. Yes.
Hey
Yes.
Lou.
Support that book. Hey, Lou. Anybody else is here? I'm sorry if I didn't say hi. So
I know there's a lot of folks dropping in, and they're so they're so happy to see you and to be here and to hear what it is that you have to say, because you are like a well of knowledge. So thank you so much for coming in and showing up and supporting,
of
showing up
course,
for me. First of all, thank
of
you
course.
so much. Not, but I will say this: you always do. So
Yes.
thank you.
Oh, the book is "The Dead Are Rising: The Life of Malcolm X." Thank you, Tammy. I mean, Tamara.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
I call
y'all
her
got that
Tamara.
right. Sky, I got this. I know what I'm doing, Sky. Give me a second. Goodness. Okay, so Bobby, before
Yes.
we end, do you have any new upcoming projects?
Um, thank you.
July 16th.
July 16th, yes. TV One movie. First Comes Love, Then Comes Murder,
Mm-hmm.
starring Jennifer Sears, amazing actress.
Who was here?
Divya
I don't know if she's
Joseph.
here now, but she was here earlier.
Yes. Rhiannon Lawrence, you can see on BMF. Um, Leslie Black and a young actress named Faith, and
Mm-hmm.
she's amazing. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's a good film. It's a crime drama, very different from me. So it's super
Yeah, and
fun to make.
yeah, and also Giveon Joseph, who is
Divya
on Zateen.
Joseph, who's on Zatima, amazing
Yeah.
actor, and
Mm-hmm.
he plays a villain in this film, and he's definitely a villain. So you'll see it. You'll see him turn into a villain, which is great because he's the nicest person in the universe. So
He is the nicest person ever. And so it's going to be scary to see him switch on y'all. Um, Thank you again so much. And I see all of y'all in the chat. Do not be surprised if I'm in your DMs later this week trying to set up an interview. Bobby, thank you
mhm.
so much for coming on. Um, you're you're like you're the dopest. You know that. You know that.
Oh, thank you,
I'm every time
thank you,
every
and you're
time I
dope
see you
too.
or hear you, I'm like,
You're dope too.
Bobby!
Hey,
So,
Dominique.
um, for those of you who haven't seen any of Bobby's work, you can catch Stalked by Her Past on Lifetime, Deadly
Hey.
Entanglement, Deadly Entanglement on BET Plus, and July 16th, First Comes Love, Then Comes Murder on TV One.
Yes, and then when the strike ends, watch out for me to come into your TV soon with some more TV shows, hopefully. So put it in the
Yes,
air. So
I'm looking
directing some
forward
TV
to
shows
it.
and an
I'm looking,
amazing movie that I don't want to talk about too much, but I have a movie that I'm super excited about. So
okay,
super excited about.
good. So everybody stay tuned. If you're not following Bobby, you can follow him at Mr. MR Bobby, Bobby, Yan, Yan on Instagram. Bravo, Bobby. Thank you so much. And before we go,
Rashida.
Thank you. I can't say thank you enough, but also before we go, I usually don't share any of the stuff I got going on this channel, but tomorrow on All Black, the app, you can find Makeup to Breakup. I'm supporting cast member on that show, so.
Oh, congratulations. And shouts to Eric Dickens, who
Yes.
created that show, as well as everybody else that's on that show. Amazing, ton of wonderful actors all on one show. It's great.
Yeah, yeah. It's amazing. Thank you again, Bobby. And thank you for everybody who tuned in, and we will see you next week. Bye.
Thank you.